Ever pondered how a numbering structure can assist in managing your projects more efficiently? Well, let's dive into this fascinating world of numbering structures and their vital role in project management. Imagine having a key to a vast library. Each book represents a task, and every shelf, a project stage. Now, how do you find a specific book without a catalog? Pretty difficult, right? Think of a numbering structure as this catalog, helping you navigate through the complex corridors of project management. When we talk about numbering structures, we're referring to a system that organizes tasks within a project. It's like a DNA code that gives each task a unique identity, making it easier to track progress, manage resources, and maintain overall project control. The beauty of a numbering structure lies in its flexibility. Depending on the nature of your project, you can code activities in a multitude of ways. Let's touch upon a few of these. First up, we have the activity category. Here, numbers correspond with a work breakdown structure, or WBS, allowing the project team to focus on specific parts of the project. Next, we have the work classification. Just as it sounds, this method identifies activities based on their type of work. Then there's location. This is particularly useful for larger projects with multiple sites. Each activity number gets a prefix, denoting its associated location, so you won't mix up tasks between different buildings or structures. Lastly, we have responsibility. Each stakeholder, be it the owner, general contractor, or subcontractor, is assigned a series of numbers. This way, the activity number reveals who is responsible for carrying out the work. So it's evident that a well-defined numbering structure can be a game changer in project management. But how do we decode these categories? Stay tuned to find out more. Imagine if you could select activities associated with a particular part of your project. That's where activity category comes in. Dive into the world of activity categories, where each task is not just a random number, but a coded message that tells you about its place in the grand scheme of things. Activity category, as the name suggests, categorizes each task based on its role in the project. This is accomplished by coding activity numbers to correspond with a work breakdown structure, more commonly known as a WBS. But what does this mean exactly? A work breakdown structure is like a master blueprint of your project. It's a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work to be carried out by the project team to accomplish the project objectives and create the required deliverables. In simpler terms, it's a detailed map of all the tasks required to complete the project, broken down into manageable chunks. Now, when you code your activity numbers to correspond with this WBS, you create an activity category. Each activity number becomes a signpost that points to its specific location in the project roadmap. This means at a glance you can understand what part of the project an activity belongs to. This is incredibly helpful in managing the project during its execution. For instance, if you're working on a large project with multiple components, you can use the activity category to quickly filter out and review only those tasks associated with the part you're interested in at the moment. No more sifting through hundreds of tasks to find the ones relevant to you. So, an activity category not only makes your schedule more organized, but also more user-friendly. It's like having a well-organized bookshelf where all your books are sorted by genre. You know exactly where to reach when you want to read a mystery novel or a biography. So, an activity category gives you a clear view of what part of the project an activity belongs to. But what about the type of work involved in the activity? Let's find out in the next scene. Work classification, a simple way to identify the type of work involved in your project activities. Let's dive into how activity numbers can be leveraged to pinpoint activities with a specific work classification. It's a bit like assigning a unique code to different types of work in your project. Think of it as a librarian sorting books. You wouldn't randomly place books on the shelves, right? Instead, you'd classify them based on their genre, author, or subject matter. Similarly, in project management, we can classify our activities based on the type of work involved. This could be anything from installing a new software system, constructing a building, or launching a marketing campaign. By giving each type of work its own unique number, we can easily track and manage similar activities together. It's like having a neat filing system for your project activities. Now, why is this useful? Well, for starters, it streamlines project management. By classifying work, you can quickly identify and group similar tasks. You can then assign these tasks to team members who specialize in that specific type of work, It also makes it easier to identify potential bottlenecks or delays. If you see a number of similar activities taking longer than expected, you'll know there's an issue with that specific type of work. It's a bit like a red flag telling you where to focus your attention. And let's not forget about reporting. When you need to communicate progress or issues to stakeholders, being able to group activities by work classification makes it much easier to present a clear picture of what's happening. In essence, using an activity numbering system based on work classification can help streamline your project management process, make it easier to identify issues, and enhance your reporting capabilities. Work classification gives you a clear understanding of the type of work involved. But what about where the work is happening? In a large project site with multiple buildings and structures, how do you keep track of where an activity is to be performed? The answer lies in locations. Imagine a sprawling construction site, a network of buildings and structures all humming with activity. Each task, each operation, is its own cog in the grand machine. But here's the thing. With so many moving parts, it can become a real challenge to keep track of where exactly everything is happening. Enter the magic of location-based activity numbering. This is a method where activity numbers are used to pinpoint the exact location where a task is to be performed. It's like having a GPS for your project tasks. Now, how does it work? Think of a large project site scattered with multiple buildings and structures. Each of these entities can have an alphanumeric prefix assigned to it. This prefix becomes a part of the activity number, effectively tying the task with a specific location. For example, let's say you have two buildings, Building A and Building B. Now, all activities related to Building A could start with the prefix A, and those associated with Building B start with B. So, if you see an activity number starting with A, you instantly know that it's happening in Building A. This method of location coding is incredibly efficient. It helps the project team differentiate between similar activities happening in different places. No more confusion between the electrical work in Building A and the similar task in Building B. But the benefits don't stop there. Most computer programs allow sorting and selecting of activities based on activity numbers. So, if the team wants to review all the tasks happening in Building A, they can simply filter the activities starting with A. So, you see, location-based activity numbering isn't just about pinpointing where the work is happening. It's about making the work more manageable, more efficient, more organized. So, location coding helps you identify where the work is happening, but who is responsible for the work? Ever got tangled up in figuring out who is responsible for what in your project? Responsibility coding in your numbering structure can save the day. In the world of project management, accountability is key. Knowing who is responsible for what is crucial for the smooth running of any project. That's where responsibility coding in your numbering structure comes into play. So how does it work? Well, each party involved in the project can be assigned a series of numbers. This could be the owner, the general contractor, or even each subcontractor involved. The activity number assigned to each task then denotes the party responsible for carrying out the work. Let's say, for instance, that the owner has been assigned the numbers 1 to 10. Any activity in the project schedule with a number from 1 to 10, therefore, falls under the responsibility of the owner. Similarly, if the general contractor has been assigned the numbers 11 to 20, any activity with these numbers is under their jurisdiction. This way, by merely looking at the activity number, we can instantly identify who is accountable for that particular task. By adopting this method, the project team can easily navigate through the maze of responsibilities. Not only does this save time, but it also eliminates any confusion about who should be doing what. Moreover, most project management software allows for sorting and selecting activities based on activity numbers. So, if you need to review all the tasks under the responsibility of a specific party, you can simply select and review only those activities associated with their assigned numbers. This kind of systematic approach to responsibility in project management fosters clear communication and promotes accountability among all parties. It ensures that everyone knows their role and what they are accountable for. In conclusion, responsibility coding is a powerful tool in the project manager's toolbox. It streamlines the process of assigning and tracking responsibilities, making it an indispensable part of any effective numbering structure. Responsibility coding gives you clarity on who is accountable for the work. Now, managing your project with a numbering structure doesn't seem so daunting, does it?